My name is Ramon Chairez. I'm a adjunct professor here at San Diego City College. I teach out of the counseling department, and I've taught the personal growth series, which is 120, 130, and 140. Each one has a slightly different focus, but they're all meant to really guide and orient new students onto campus, but also into their chosen fields of study, their careers. I'm a product of the community college system, and one of the things that I identify with is that community college experience. I really see myself through students. Even if they don't look like me, just some of the struggles, I identify with that. I think growing up, my father's alcoholism and some of his verbal and physical abuse had a huge impact on me, and I started to get disengaged with school. I got kicked out of high school, and then I went to another school, and then I dropped out. And I was a senior. I had like 6 months to go before I graduated. And then I went to construction for about 4 or 5 years, and I had a bunch of friends one of them I had grown up with, and another one I had recently met. And he had family in Guadalajara that was sending him truckloads of marijuana. And so his job was to cross over, a certain amount, a certain percentage of whatever load came in, right? And so I was around that to the point where I became really comfortable around it. And at one point he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to be a driver for me?" And the first time he asked me, I said no. The second time I was like, I can do this. And I was just at a point where, I was super young and I was not necessarily happy, but I was looking for some form of excitement and even some rebellion. And so I did it for almost a year before I got caught. And then I got arrested, and I got really close to getting sentenced to 6 months to a year in prison. And I got out within a month. I was 24 at that time, and so I was old enough to know what I was doing, but nowhere near as aware of what all the consequences were. But even after I got arrested, I didn't stop doing it. For the next 3 or 4 years, I dedicated myself to being a contractor. I helped my friend and then a couple other guys move a lot of marijuana across the border. And so I would hire drivers, and I would buy specific cars and, outfit them and find the compartments. And I knew how to package. And basically I learned how to beat the dogs at the border. But it's a numbers game too, so eventually someone gets caught, and one of my drivers got caught. Another one got scared and he quit. And so I did that for off and on for at least 3 years before I finally was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I have more to offer. And I had been taking all these community college classes, and I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and I read Howard Zinn's, the People's History of the United States, and those two books they hit me hard, and I was like, I want to do something, And at some point I just told my friend I'm done. I had bigger and better things to do. I think I was 28 when I finally fully committed to college and transferring. And this is after 4 years of spinning my wheels, being a criminal, but also being a community college student. It took me 4 years to finally be all right, I'm ready to graduate, so to speak. And then I was 30 when I transferred to UCSD. I was 33 when I graduated, and 35 when I started my master's program. So it was a long process before I finally finished school. And I was kind of in the place that a lot of 22 or 23-year-olds are when they graduate. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because I really didn't have a firm idea of what I wanted to do. But I had changed the narrative and the story, right? Because I went from being a criminal to being an academic, I think it benefits students to experience authentic teachers for a bunch of different reasons. I think one, it's almost like initial buy-in. It's okay that he's real, he's not bullshitting, he's not hiding. He's telling us who he is. I want them to see me I don't want them to see me as this mystery, and worse, something that I'm not. All I can be is who I am, and who I am is this this pile of experiences, you know, that's what's molded me. And so I want to tell them like, hey, well, check it out. Like, yeah, I had an alcoholic father, he was abusive verbally for the most part, but occasionally physically. Those are some of my scars, I didn't graduate high school initially, and I decided to do this, and then I was a convict, and I was a criminal, but guess what? Those are other scars, and I learned from those too, and then I decided that I wanted to do this, and this is how I did it, and it wasn't pretty, it's never really been pretty, but it's who I am, and then I get to turn that on them and say, who are you? Like, I'm inviting them to open up because I want them to be themselves here, right? I want them to become aware of themselves here. Like, this is a great space to become aware of yourself, right? It's personal growth, but it's also like professional development, I tell them that communicating is a skill that a lot of professionals don't know how to do, right? Having emotional intelligence is a skill that a lot of professionals don't know how to do. The students are the best part, like the interaction, when you come into a classroom, like you're a storyteller, you're a performer. When I walk into a classroom and I'm getting ready to teach, I'm excited, I'm happy to see them. I'm like, all right, how you doing? Like, ¿qué pasó? ¿Cómo estás? And I love that exchange, If you don't love interacting with students and love being in this space, that's not something that you can do and pretend like it's not impacting you. You can't pretend to be happy in these spaces because students see right through it. They know that, oh, that dude is bitter, Why is he teaching? When I think about city college students, I think about all the different things that so many of our students are going through, right? This is an urban community college, right? It's in the middle of downtown. And so they're coming with all kinds of stuff. And I think a lot of times students, they see those things that they're carrying as, they see them as negatives. And they're not negatives, right? Sometimes they're horrible experiences that you don't want anybody to go through, but they've gone through them, right? And so what is it that they can, how can they turn those experiences into something that's a source of power and energy for them, right? Resilience, It's important to hone in on those experiences and honor them. I think as a campus, that's what we need to be doing, is really honing in on who are our students. But also, relaying to our students yo, man, you're a lot stronger than you know. You're a lot stronger than you think. And let's help you hone in on that and develop that and help that rose in the concrete blossom, so to speak.